Imagine a city. People wake up early in the morning, markets are being set up, fresh bread is being sent to the ovens. Life continues in an ordinary way, and then a woman, without any music, begins to dance in the street. She does not stop. Minutes pass, hours pass. The day ends, but she is still dancing. This was the first recorded case in Strasbourg in July of 1518. The woman's name appears in the records as Frau Trophäa. She began moving in the middle of the street. No one asked her to do it, no one joined her, and there was no celebration. This was not a festivity. At first people only watched in confusion. It was strange, but it didn't seem dangerous. They thought the woman had lost her mind. But the next day, she was still dancing. On the third day, she was still dancing. And then something changed. Another person joined, then another. Within a week, around 30 people had begun dancing in the same way. No one was forcing them, no one was organizing them, and no one had any idea how to make them stop. These people were not choosing to dance. They were dancing because they could not stop themselves. The city's leaders first thought it might be a physical illness. They brought in doctors. But the doctors reached a strange conclusion. According to them, the problem was not mental. The problem was overheated blood. And the solution was to continue dancing. So the first decision the city made was this: let them dance. Space was opened for them. Wooden platforms were built. Musicians were brought in. The aim was to help them recover from the illness. But what happened was the opposite. The number of dancers kept increasing. Dozens of people were dancing all day. Their feet were bleeding. Some collapsed from exhaustion. But shortly after, they stood up again. According to the records, some died from heart attack, stroke, or complete exhaustion. And for the first time, the city realized this was not entertainment. This was a loss of control. At this point, people tried to find an explanation. At that time, illnesses were not seen as only physical. They were also believed to be spiritual and religious. Many believed this was the curse of Saint Vitus. According to this belief, those punished by the saint were condemned to dance unwillingly. Because of this, the city authorities made a new decision. The dancers were taken to a shrine away from the city center. Rituals were performed there. They were given special shoes. Prayers were recited. And strangely, within a few days, the event began to decline. Then it stopped. No treatment was applied. No medicine was given. But the outbreak disappeared. So what had happened? There is no definite answer. But one thing is certain. These people were not pretending. They were suffering. Today, this case is described as psychogenic mass illness, or more commonly, mass hysteria. In such situations, the intense stress experienced by a society turns into physical symptoms, and these symptoms spread from one person to another through sight. Because the human mind does not function alone, the human brain constantly observes its surroundings, especially other people. Witnessing someone's fear triggers a perception of danger. Seeing someone panic prepares the body for a threat. This mechanism allows us to survive, but sometimes the threat is not real, and yet the body reacts as if it were. Strasbourg at that time was going through a difficult period. There had been famine. Diseases had spread. Poverty had increased. Religious pressure was high. People lived with a constant expectation. Something bad was about to happen. The mind cannot carry this pressure forever. And sometimes, it finds the solution not in thought, but in the body. One person began to move. Others watched. And the brain made a decision. We must be in danger. But the danger had no name, so the body used a language that era understood: movement. Today, the same phenomenon appears in different forms: fainting outbreaks, tics, unexplained pains, sudden symptoms in schools. In the modern world, people do not dance because our fears have taken different shapes. But the mechanism is the same. The human mind does not function properly in isolation. Humans are social beings. We do not only share ideas, we share emotions, and sometimes even physical reactions. Perhaps the most unsettling point is this. This event may not belong only to the past. We often believe our thoughts belong to us, but ideas spread. So do fears, so does panic. Within a crowd, remaining an individual is difficult, because the human brain evolved to adapt. Through this, we built civilizations, we formed languages, we created music, we built families. But the same mechanism sometimes takes control away from us. In 1518, people danced for days. No one forced them. And perhaps that is why the event is so disturbing. Because the threat did not come from outside. It came from within. The human mind within a group can be less free than when alone. And the question is this. If one day a society again shares the same fear, if we all begin moving in the same direction while believing it is our own decision, would we realize it, or would we, like them, continue simply because we cannot stop?